I had just woken up when I discovered a golden chain tied to my right hand, and the other end was tied to a woman who turned out to be my math teacher Zayakian. I snapped awake instantly and subconsciously sat bolt upright, a reflex like being called on in class. There was no sleepiness on Zayakian's face, nor even much surprise. She just slightly curled her red lips and looked at me with a smile. I raised my wrist. Teacher Zai, what is going on? Could you please untie this for me? Do you want to go find Yuan Tianxian again? Don't even think about it, you won't get to see her even if you're a lost cause. Her tone was as cold as if she were reading a list of failed students. Who is this Yuan something Tian? Who is she? Why would I go look for her? This time it was Zai Yakian's turn to pause, but only for a second. She quickly thought of my previous actions. Seeing that she didn't answer, I began to observe the surroundings, a large room with decor that looked very expensive at a glance. Zai Yakian thought I was going to start acting crazy again and mocked me. What do you want to do? Do you want to smash a vase over my head again, or do you want to? I didn't listen to her. After a quick look around, I had countless questions. Where is this your house? But I remember your house doesn't look like this. Also, why am I here? Why am I tied to you? Why are we sleeping in the same bed? What did you do to me? Is this gold chain an alloy? It shouldn't be real gold, right? You don't know where this is. A house you bought behind my back and kept hidden from me. What's that supposed to mean? Suddenly, I saw something strange. A line of translucent text appeared out of thin air. It's coming. The male lead is faking amnesia again to trick his villain wife. I pity President Zai for a second. How long can he fake it? I bet no more than a day. The second female lead must have already seen through it. This is the third time he's acted this way. She definitely won't believe him. By the way, is Yuan Tianxian online today? No, 1 star. What's so good about the female lead? Can't you look at our poor second female lead wife? Male lead, female lead, villain wife. I recognized every word, but putting them together made a chill run down my spine. This sense of absurdity. Did I transmigrate? No, I am still me. The woman across from me is my childhood friend, the one who never got along with me since childhood. Zayaki. You don't remember Yuan Tianxian? Then what do you remember? I didn't answer. I'm married, you're my wife. How is that possible? Kaio Chen, if you want a divorce, it's absolutely impossible. I will never let you be with Yuan Tianxian. Even if I die, don't even think about being with Yuan Tianxian. I'm not even 20, how could I be married? It must be a fake certificate. This marriage is illegal. How old are you? 19. Zayakian's pupils constricted for a moment and her heart skipped a beat before she calmed down. Kaio Chen, I don't have time to waste. Stop acting amnesia. How many times have you faked it? If you're not bored, I'm still tired of you wasting my time. Don't go looking for Yuan Tianxian again. She doesn't really love you. Amnesia, I haven't lost my memory. Yesterday, after I finished the 800-meter race at the sports meet and took first place, I twisted my ankle while showing off to you. But the current situation, I seem to have no memory of it. As Zayakian listened, her expression became more and more unsettled, her eyes locking onto me. It was shortly after that time that a Chen met Yuan Tianxian. If a Chen really has amnesia, it is normal for him to say he doesn't know Yuan Tianxian. You're not 19, this year you are 26. We've been married for 4 years. 4 years, a full 4 years. I don't believe it. I'm clearly only 19, and how could I have married you? You used to say, even if all the men in the world died, you wouldn't like me. I'll believe you for now. If I find out you're lying to me again, next time I won't just use a chain to lock you up. I looked at the chain and asked curiously, Zayakian, is this chain real gold or an alloy? It's real, but it's 18K gold. Pure gold is too soft. So isn't it still an alloy? I got excited for nothing. Zayakian's voice softened a bit. Whatever you want to buy, tell me and I'll buy it for you. You've changed your nature. It wasn't easy to get pocket money from you before. You used to say your money belongs to your husband. You're quite generous now. You are my husband now. How could I have married you? Are you sick or am I sick? You're not lying to me, right? Zayakian took the marriage certificate from the bedside and showed it to me. It's real with that kind of embossed seal. I looked at the date on it. 22. We got married the year we graduated. The morning light filtered through the huge floor-to-ceiling windows. Zayakian sat in the dining room, her gaze drifting over me. Aunt Wang said politely, "Young master, breakfast is ready." I stared at the breakfast on the table, my eyes lighting up. Zayakian observed me calmly. As I ate, I shouted toward the kitchen, "Aunt Wang, your cooking is incredible." Aunt Wang poked her head out from the kitchen. "I'm glad the young master likes it. If you like it, eat more." "I love it," I said, stuffing another fried bun into my mouth. A Chen looking this happy. How long has it been since I last saw that? What if this is fake? In an instant, that touch of tenderness was covered by frost. If a Chen is only doing this to lower my guard so he can leave me again to find Yuan Tianxian, I will give a Chen a chance. I will wait, observe, and judge. This thought coiled around Zai Yaqian's heart like a poisonous snake. She put down her coffee cup. If a Chen wants to trick me, the specially made golden dragon in the basement has always lacked an occupant. I don't mind letting a Chen move back in. I suddenly spoke up, Zai Yaqian, I don't remember your family being this rich. This villa wasn't cheap, was it? Did you earn it? How much have you made these past years? The old A Chen never asked about my assets or cared about my affairs. A Chen only thought about Yuan. Tianxian only cared about Yuan Tianxian and wanted to please her. Zai Yaqian took a deep breath. It's not expensive, only over 300 million. I still have a net worth of tens of billions. My eyes widened when I heard 300 million, and when I heard she had tens of billions, my eyes nearly popped out. This is way too rich. I put down my chopsticks and looked at her seriously. You said we are a legal couple, right? If we divide the marital assets, half of your wealth is mine, which means I am also. Take off my clothes now. That's not very good. How about we go back to the room, since Zai Yaqian and I are already married? Even if I take them off, so what? I won't lose anything. My smile was bright without a trace of gloom. Seeing my joyful expression, Zai Yaqian couldn't help but be convinced. Could he really have amnesia this time? Previously, even when a Chen faked it, he couldn't hide his disgust for me. No, I must continue to observe. A Chen, we have a prenuptial agreement. If we divorce, you have to leave with nothing. My expression immediately slumped. It's true. How generous. You actually guarded against me, Zai Yaqian. I didn't expect you to be this kind of person. You've disappointed me so much. When we got married, this was. You suggested it yourself. I suggested it. Why am I brain dead? Did I give up all that money just to act noble? Because back then a Chen didn't really want to marry me. At that time, A Chen's heart was broken by Yuan Tianxian, so he reluctantly agreed to marry me. The prenuptial agreement was also a Chen's insistence. He insisted on signing it. He repeatedly told me we were just a fake couple. How did we get married, and who on earth is Yuan Tianxian? I continued to press for answers. Just as I asked this, my eyes drifted toward the bullet comments again. A Chen hubby, Yuan Tianxian is your wife. Please, his wife is Zai Yaqian, and the legal kind too. Wife Zai Yaqian and hubby A Chen are a match made in heaven. I'll fight any of you who want the second female lead to take her place. That daughter isn't worthy of being the female lead. HMPH, once the male lead remembers, he'll definitely return to her side. You clowns, please don't break up the official couple. CPOK. From these comments, I understood that I Zai Yaqian and that Yuan Tianxian were probably in a romance novel. The male lead, the villainous second lead, and the cheating female lead. But what does this woman look like that should make me want to commit suicide for her? Zai Yaqian stood aside, hesitating for a long time before speaking. Yuan Tianxian is your first love. You kept lying to me for her, all sorts of deceptions and lies. Why would I sign a prenuptial agreement? I'm truly a big idiot. Seeing me like this, Zai Yaqian said, A Chen, you woke up with amnesia and now you've started scolding yourself. Do I need to call the family doctor? I shook my head. No need, I'm fine. Zai Yaqian observed my abnormality. It was too strange, A Chen. Today's behavior is too strange. Could A Chen have secretly contacted Yuan Tianxian? What did Yuan Tianxian say to him, this amnesia? Could it really be a carefully planned act? Is the goal to make me lower my guard? But everything seems to have returned to the past, back to when A Chen didn't love Yuan Tianxian. Zai Yaqian's gaze dimmed and suspicion grew like wild vines in her heart. After breakfast, Zai Yaqian had work to handle at the company and was about to leave. I hadn't finished eating, but seeing her leave, I followed and casually asked, Where are you going? To work, I nodded. I forgot, what about me? Where do I work? You're not allowed to leave. I raised my head and said, Why, you think I'm lying? My credibility with you isn't high. I really don't remember the events of these 6 years. I don't even remember that Yuan or whoever person. What else can I do since you forgot? Then stay home obediently. Don't go out and don't think about running away. There are guards at home, Zai Yaqian said with disbelief. I've agreed to stay at home, but you have to give me my entertainment devices, right? I'll have someone bring you a new one later. I smiled and gave her an okay gesture. As soon as Zai Yaqian stepped out, she told the bodyguards, Keep a close eye on the young master. Don't let him go anywhere or see anyone, especially Yuan Tianxian. Understood, President Zai. President Zai, there's an important bidding meeting tonight involving the Zai Corp, the Yuan Corp, and other companies. Zai Yaqian's assistant reported the day's schedule. The assistant also knew about this morning's events and couldn't help but feel worried. Every time the young master pulled a stunt like this, it was to help the Yuan family steal a project, although the Zai Corp wasn't the only competitor. The Zai Corp was their strongest rival. The assistant knew about my situation this morning and felt worried. Once the Zai Corp was handled, there would be no One would be able to compete with the Yuan Corp. Speak your mind, President Zai. Could the young master be faking it just to lower your guard and then pull something big at the banquet? He has already sabotaged many of the Zai Corp's collaborations, but President Zai always spoils the young master, even with significant profit losses and shareholder complaints she refuses to divorce. The young master is truly blind to not see such a good wife and insist on chasing a trashy woman. I feel it's not worth it for Zai Yakian if such a situation exists. You should prepare an alternative plan in advance. No matter what happens, we must win this project this time instead of letting the young master's actions disrupt your pace. President Zai is right. Back at home, after eating and drinking my fill, I lay back on the bed. Truth be told, this bed is real. Lie large, the bedding is all silk, soft and smooth, and the mattress is very soft and smart adjustable. I feel like I don't even need to go to the living room anymore. Previously, the Kaio family and the Zai family were considered well-off families who could afford such furniture, but that definitely didn't include such a large villa. I still haven't figured out how that girl Zai Yakian took her revenge. How could someone be so successful? I watched the bullet comments still scrolling in real time. They were all unimportant things and nonsense without any substantial information, so I didn't bother reading them while scrolling. Not long after, a message popped up on my new phone. Chen, today's project is very important. You must help me stall Zai Yakian. When I defeat the Zai Corp, we'll get married. While I was confused, I looked at the bullet comments. The female lead has the nerve to trick the male lead. He will surely agree. He loves the female lead so much. Hard to say, the male lead has amnesia now. Who remembers her? The male lead's amnesia isn't confirmed yet. May be he's faking it to deceive the second female lead. Today's project is very important. Whoever gets it will pull far ahead of the other. I beg the male lead not to cause trouble again. Now I understand. The one messaging me was that round or flat trashy woman. I rolled over and continued scrolling on my phone. After another 10 minutes or so without any reply from me, Yuan Tianchen finally realized something was wrong and started using sweet words to coax me into doing things for her. I was so annoyed that I blocked her. Yuan Tianchen didn't expect me to block her. How could I be blocked? Is it because I've been neglecting him lately? Yuan Tianchen immediately sent more sweet words, basically saying that her relationships with other men were all fake and just for business. She only loves me in her heart. She's earning money just to marry me, and this project is so she can treat me better in the future. I replied directly, transfer 5 million to me to show your sincerity. Yuan Tianchen immediately changed her tone. Chen, you've changed. You weren't this materialistic before. You used to be pure, innocent, beautiful, and kind like snow. Have you been with Zai Yakian for too long and been influenced by her? You must stay away from her. I'm working hard for our future, so why can't you help and understand me? I frowned and fell into self-doubt, muttering in my heart, would I really like this kind of ordinary woman? Am I transmigrated or am I amnesiac? But regardless, it's impossible for me to like such an ordinary woman. I couldn't be bothered to talk to this idiot anymore, so I blocked her phone number as well. Mother Wang, the nanny at the Zai residence, called Zai Yakian. Hello, Mother Wang, before Zai Yakian could ask the reason for the call. Miss, the young master has been vomiting at home and has a stomachache. He is in so much pain that he is rolling on the floor. Where is the family doctor? I just called and he will be here shortly. The young master wanted to call an ambulance, but the bodyguards wouldn't allow it, saying that they need your permission. Tell those idiots to call 120 immediately. If anything happens to him, every single one of them can get lost. She immediately dialed 120, not daring to delay a moment. Zai Yakian hung up the phone and ordered the driver to turn around. President Zai, our bidding meeting is about to start, but the young master has a stomach ache at this time, reminded the assistant Zhu from the front seat. I know what you mean, but to me, Ah Cheng always comes first, even if it is a boy who cried wolf situation every time. And he is lying to me. I will continue to believe him next time. Ah Cheng can lie to me countless times, but I cannot ignore him even once. I am not a lucky person. I cannot lose Ah Cheng, and I cannot bear the pain of losing him. Zhu opened her mouth to advise further, but ultimately just replied, yes. The black Rolls-Royce quickly turned around at the intersection right before entering the bidding venue and sped towards the Zai residence. Zai Yakian took a deep breath. It's not that I haven't considered that this might be another carefully planned accident. The timing is too coincidental, and the purpose might be to disrupt my attendance at the bidding meeting, but I have no choice. I can't afford to gamble, and I don't dare to, even if the boy who cried wolf story plays out 100 times on the 101st time. I will run to Ah Cheng without hesitation. Her phone vibrated with a message from Mother Wang. The ambulance has arrived and is taking the young master to the hospital. Juju quickly handled the postponement of the bidding on her tablet, while Zayakian kept staring out the window until the car braked sharply in front of the emergency building. Zayakian rushed inside the moment the car stopped. Mother Wang and several bodyguards were waiting anxiously at the entrance of the emergency room. Miss, Mother Wang said as she saw her. Where is he? Zayakian asked, her voice trembling. Inside, the doctor is examining him. Zayakian walked to the door. And through the glass window, she could only see moving shadows. She clenched her fists, forced herself to calm down, and turned to the bodyguards standing nearby. With their hands down, who stopped the ambulance from being called? Her voice was low but cold as ice. A tall bodyguard stepped forward. Stiffly, the master previously ordered that if the young master needs to use emergency contacts or a car, he must first. What I need is for you. To ensure his absolute safety, not to let him suffer through the pain, Zayakian interrupted, her eyes filled with suppressed rage. If something really happened to him, who among you could take the responsibility? The bodyguards went silent, not daring to speak. Just then the emergency room door opened and a doctor walked out. Zayakian immediately approached him. Doctor, how is my husband? Acute gastroenteritis. The patient is too thin and usually eats too little. This time he ate too much at once, putting too much strain on his stomach, causing severe spasms and vomiting. He has been medicated and the pain is now relieved. He is under observation now. It's nothing serious, so don't worry. Her heart finally settled heavily, followed by a feeling of weak exhaustion, but more so a sense of relief. Zayakian took a long breath. Thank you, doctor. Can I go in to see him now? Yes, but the patient needs rest, so please keep quiet. Zayakian nodded and gently pushed the door open. I was lying on the hospital bed with my eyes closed, my face still pale, a needle in the back of my hand with transparent medicine. The liquid dripped down slowly. Hearing footsteps, my eyelashes fluttered and I opened my eyes. Seeing her, a flash of complex emotion quickly crossed my eyes. The emotion looked like surprise and something else, soon covered by a layer of weakness. Don't you have an important meeting? My voice was somewhat hoarse. An undetectable light flashed in Zayakian's eyes, her voice so tender as she asked, How did you know? She suspected I might have intentionally lured her away. From the bidding meeting, she had prepared so even if she wasn't there, her subordinates weren't incompetent. As soon as the male lead cried, the female lead came like a dog, resulting in her imprisoning the male lead. I want to see an imprisonment play. I originally intended to explain to Zayakian because in my current memory, Zayakian is the person I am familiar with. I received a message today asking me to stall you, mentioning some important meeting. Zayakian. You have to believe me, I have amnesia now. Even if we don't get along, I wouldn't help others against you. Don't think that because I don't know her now. I would ruin your career even if I did. Zayakian was moved. If only it could stay like this forever. Zayakian tried to take my phone. Usually I would be very nervous, but this time I took my phone, unlocked it, and handed it to her. Then she saw the pleas for reconciliation and sweet talk sent by Yuan Tianchen. Her gaze darkened again. After reading the messages, it was as I said, I hadn't agreed. My coming to the hospital was a total coincidence. Didn't I see my 26-year-old self was too thin? I wanted to eat more to nourish my body, but who knew I was actually this fragile now. Zayakian hadn't heard me chatter so much with her in a long time, as if I wanted to tell her all the trivial little things happening to me. I seemed to have really forgotten Yuan Tianchen. She could see me in her eyes again. Zayakian stayed at the hospital, watching over me during the IV drip. The night outside was like ink, and nurses' footsteps echoed occasionally in the corridor. The liquid in the bottle fell steadily. Measuring time, I leaned against the raised hospital bed, face still pale but eyes exceptionally bright, as if eager to fish out from the fog. A past forgotten by myself, I asked many questions about those 6 years, all of which I had forgotten. Zayakian initially gave short answers or even tried to change the subject. Those 6 years for her were countless silences of words left unsaid, watching my back as I walked toward someone else, a deep-seated jealousy and powerlessness that almost consumed her. Those were the most unpleasant 6 years. She didn't want to mention a single word, but whenever she tried to be completely silent, her gaze would meet mine. There was no gloom or longing brought by memory, only pure curiosity, as clear as an early autumn stream without any dust from the past. Facing such a pair of eyes, she found she couldn't maintain her guard. Those bitter fragments were finally asked out by me piece by piece. That Yuan something, how do I know her? Zayakian's fingers unconsciously felt the edge of the window railing, the coldness of the metal seeping through. Her voice was flat and steady with no emotion. Only she knew the thick, sticky, poisonous fire was faintly burning in her chest again. Yuan Tianxian. She is a graduate student at our school. After you sprained your ankle, I was the one who took you to the school hospital. She paused, as if she could still feel the weight of me on her back from those years ago. Later, I accompanied you to every follow-up and dressing change, however. By the last time you had basically recovered, I saw you had no trouble walking, and I also had things to attend to that day. One absence, just that once. I guarded you every time, never leaving your side, yet it couldn't beat fate's seemingly unintentional displacement that allowed Aiken to fall in love with another woman at first sight. Even now, the memory feels like a thin thorn, stuck in the softest part of my heart. And then, I asked, as if listening to a story that had nothing to do with me. You started having secrets then, acting sneaky and distracted every day. My project was at a critical stage, and I was busy working day and night. By the time I had the energy to find you, you came to tell me you were going to confess to Yuan Tianxian. The ward fell silent for a moment, with only the sound of the equipment operating faintly. Then how exactly did we get married? My brows slowly furrowed, as I once again asked the most baffling question that had been on my mind since I woke up. Later, you found out that Yuan Tianxian wasn't just being ambiguous with you. More importantly, she already had a family-arranged fiancé. You married me in a flash out of spite. You were like an abandoned puppy then, and I agreed out of a soft heart. Zai Yaqian was lying. The truth was that she couldn't get what she wanted and regretted it, so I gave her a chance. I was the other man. I was a homewrecker. I suddenly sat up straight, my voice rising sharply with shock and anger, causing the needle in my hand to twitch. As the words left my mouth, I felt disbelief, followed by a surge of absurdity, not knowing what expression to make. I asked Zai Yaqian about these 6 years because I wanted her answer. And even more, to see what the comments would say. The female lead's love at first sight is beautiful, but the childhood friend never wins. The female lead's feelings for others are all fake, only her love for the male lead is real. Give it a rest, she was flirting everywhere. How many times did the male lead break down as the heir to the Yuan family? With so many illegitimate siblings, she had to seize power first. Her methods were just for show, except for the male lead. Just for show, then why didn't she break the engagement for him? When he was being flamed as a third party, she hid. Is that love? The comments were fighting fiercely. I listened to Zai Yaqian's steady narration of Yuan Tianxian's past 6 years as it slowly formed a complete picture in my mind. It was just a cliché and hurtful story. She was ambitious for power but couldn't let go of her feelings, so she coaxed me with promises of true love while maintaining her engagement for profit, playing both sides until things were exposed. I bore all the infamy, while the person who claimed to love me wouldn't even stand up to protect me. This plot is just like an old melodramatic romance novel. I really can't understand. Was I really that stupid? This isn't my style at all. How could I be so foolish? The IV drip finally reached its end. I could finally leave the hospital smelling of disinfectant. My gaze was fixed on that Rolls-Royce, my eyes lighting up repeatedly. This car is so cool. My fingers brushed the smooth door. 28 million. I turned my head with a hint of longing. If I hadn't run into that Yuan Tianxian back then, would I have also succeeded in my business and made a fortune? Then I will buy luxury houses and cars with my own ability. I paused, my chin itching slightly, imagining out of spite that I could even keep a female devil. Keep what? It's none of your business. I just want to keep a female devil. My prime youth has mysteriously lost 6 years. 6 years, I haven't even properly held a woman's hand. I woke up and was immediately tied to you. What's wrong with me wanting to keep a female devil? I'm going to claim some ground. That brief warm atmosphere had long since vanished. Facing Zai Yaqian, I returned to our old way of interacting, wanting to say whatever without any scruples. I got in the car to go home. I even opened the back door and sat inside, treating her like my exclusive driver. Zai Yaqian looked at my childish and lively appearance. That familiar feeling welled up again and her red lips curled slightly. She opened the back door and struggled to pull me out. I rarely see such a childish side of Zai Yaqian, so I let her strength guide me as she stuffed me into the passenger seat. Do you really take me for a driver? To be able to be a driver for this young master, you should be secretly happy. Zai Yaqian didn't speak further. We arrived at the gate of the Zai residence and I lingered in the passenger seat, letting Zai Yaqian stubbornly and childishly pull at me. Servants waiting at the Zai residence gate had never seen the young lady and son-in-law so intimate. In the past, they either looked at each other coldly or had fierce arguments, but today they seemed changed, one playing and one laughing. It seems the young couple's relationship finally has ice-breaking. Zines. Zai Yakian held my arm as we went through the corridor and straight into the master bedroom, letting me sit on the bed while her face flushed red. This unexpected tender made me stunned for a moment, and I blurted out, "You've changed a lot. Are you trying to say I'm old again? Don't forget we're the same age. You're even a week older than me, so are you implying that I'm old?" No. Zai Yakian turned to the wardrobe with a faint smile. "You go shower first, we are sleeping together." My thoughts immediately raced, thinking about what could happen after the shower, and I asked guardedly, "Yes, and I'll put a chain on you so you don't run away at night. This is illegal imprisonment. I'm going to call the police." "Fine, go ahead and report it. We are a legally married couple. I'll tell the police it's just some marital roleplay. Do you think they'll care?" Zai Yakian, you female rogue. When I came out of the bathroom wearing only a bathrobe, Zai Yakian felt awkward for a moment, stood up, and slipped into the bathroom as well. At that moment, the phone screen lying outside lit up. "President Zai, the bidding results are out. We won and Yuanqi is out." Zai Yakian quickly dried herself after her bath and pushed open the bathroom door, but the bedroom was empty and I was nowhere to be seen. Her breathing hitched as if she had suddenly fallen into an ice cave. Had A Chen lied to me again and vanished from my world once more, with an imperceptible tremble and no response, an ominous premonition almost overwhelmed her. "Kaio Chen, everyone go find the Duke right now." At that moment, with a sharp click, the door at the end of the hallway was pulled open, letting in a gust of wind. "Stop shouting." My face was full of annoyance at being disturbed, and my tone was aggressive. "Why are you screaming like you're summoning a soul in the middle of the night? Are you going to let anyone sleep?" Seeing that I was still there, Zai Yakian finally felt relieved. Seeing her so anxious that she was almost frantic, a sense of guilt suddenly rose in my heart. Before the transmigration, when I sprained my foot, Zai Yakian helped me to the school hospital while constantly scolding me. "Kaio Chen, this is what you get for showing off. You deserve it." She kept scolding me. "Now that you've sprained your foot, keep showing off. Be careful not to sprain the other one." Before she could finish, I deliberately shook my leg and she immediately shut up. Although 20-year-old Zai Yakian had a sharp tongue, she would always appear immediately whenever I had any trouble, even if it was a meaningless trifle. The 26-year-old Zai Yakian is too cold to me, yet she still cares. I am mentally young now and not the same age as her, so I speak without any reservations. "You have a crush on me." It wasn't a question, there wasn't even a hint of hesitation. My tone was too certain. Zai Yakian stopped abruptly. "Crush on you, my foot. Come back to the room with me. You're not allowed to stay here." The bullet chat exploded again. I quickly scanned the arguing comments but got no useful information, and I didn't feel like looking into it. Zai Yakian was already standing in front of me. "Walk back yourself, or should I have someone carry you?" Her eyes were clear and her words were not a negotiation but an announcement. She looked away to the side and spoke bashfully. "I'll just sleep in the guest room, I won't run away. I have no interest in you, look how thin you've become." I subconsciously looked myself over. I am very thin, morbidly thin. I caught a fleeting look of pain in her eyes, as if she had cut herself while stabbing me. "Then why must you tie me up?" "I know too many things happened over the years. Her way of treating us is related to this in my lost memory right before we married, you were entangled with Yuan Tianchen. You turned yourself into something neither human nor ghost. After we married, I gave you freedom at first. After you saw him for the first time, you came back and went on a 3-day hunger strike to divorce me. I didn't agree, but I didn't stop you from seeing him and even sent bodyguards to protect you. The next time I saw you, you were crying at the doorstep, telling me Yuan Tianchen and his fiancée we're getting engaged. You got hurt several times because of him. I forgot to tell you he has a fiancée now. He has a fiancée yet keeps you hanging, using your connections to steal many Zai Corporation contracts, feeding off us to grow, and never fulfilled the promise to marry. He didn't even break off his engagement. You slit your wrists, hoarded sleeping pills, and acted desperately for him, even when his childhood friend needed a kidney. You wanted to give yours to him. Fortunately, I stopped you and locked you at home, otherwise you wouldn't be here, you'd be a pile of bones. Since then, I have had people watch you during the day and lock you up to sleep with me at night. Don't even think about running away." Is that me? Isn't this just a big fool? Is it really me? My face grew paler as I listened, falling into deep doubt. Does this novelist's world? You have issues, I really can't empathize, but I won't overthink it since I've forgotten everything, I'll just defend myself. Am I not Forgetting now, to prevent you from suddenly remembering and acting desperately again, you must come back with me. Don't resist, I have no interest in you. I gave in, moved by her affection in not abandoning me all these years. Zayakian has a sharp tongue, but she's family who stayed by my side. All right, all right. Looking at myself, I don't find myself interesting either. Zayakian took me back to the master bedroom and skillfully tied us together with a chain. She kept her word and slept on the other side of the bed. I still couldn't sleep. Yakian, this bed is really comfortable. Tired and twice startled, she ordered me to sleep quickly. On the fourth morning, a slight clinking sound was clear in the silent room. Zayakian moved first very gently, but the metal edges still reached the edge of my consciousness. So noisy, there are no classes this morning, can't you let me sleep? Frowning, I subconsciously buried my face in the pillow. Get up and eat breakfast first, a woman's voice said. If you want to sleep, wait until after breakfast. With eyes closed, my foggy brain struggled to function. Where did a woman come from in the dorm? Then memory fragments suddenly snapped together and I felt as if I'd been burned. In that way, I comfortably sat up. Your memory is actually quite good. You even remember that there are no classes this morning. I didn't respond, sitting on the bed lost in a deeper daze and contemplation. The events of 6 years ago seem like yesterday, but the woman before me and the subtle differences in my body silently tell me that time has indeed passed by 6 years. This isn't right, not right at all. Amnesia causes forgetting, so how could I remember distant things so clearly yet only lose those long 6 years in between? A more bizarre sci-fi thought emerged uncontrollably. Could it be that I've traveled through time? Go downstairs for breakfast, eat a bit less today so you don't end up in the hospital like yesterday. I hummed in response, watching her slender figure leave as the door was gently closed. I suddenly fell back, pulling the quilt over my head, continuing to struggle with that shocking conjecture in the darkness. Sorry, I'm late. I froze, instantly pulling off the quilt and scanning the empty room with sharp eyes. Who's in the room? Hello, little Chen, I'm not in the room. I'm in your head, in your head. Auditory hallucination. A precursor to schizophrenia. I could no longer stay calm. I threw off the quilt, jumped out of bed and rushed out of the room barefoot, running downstairs while holding my head as if I could shake off that eerie voice. Zayakian, who was having breakfast in the dining room, heard this terrified scream and immediately dropped her utensils, rushing toward the stairs. Just as she climbed a few steps, she collided with me. What's wrong? Her gaze quickly swept over my pale face. I grabbed her arm like a lifeline, speaking rapidly with a trembling voice. I heard a strange voice. She said, she's in my head. Zayakian, am I really having a problem? Schizophrenia, hallucinations. What are you talking about? Where is your voice? Zayakian just frowned slightly, looking at me in confusion. My venting stopped abruptly. Are you deaf? I care about you and you actually call me deaf? This question clearly reached her ears. Zayakian's face turned cold, looking betrayed. I said so much just now and you didn't hear a single word. I said you're deaf, yet your ears are quite sharp. I was anxious and angry, my fear temporarily suppressed by rage. You definitely didn't make any sound just now. Amnesia, hallucinations, and now signs of aphasia. She didn't want to delay. Come on, we're going to the hospital right now. Just then that voice rang out in my head once more with a soothing tone. Host, don't be afraid, I'm not a freak and you don't have schizophrenia. I am System 13. 7. System 137. My struggling stopped and my chaotic thoughts were led in a brand new direction by this abrupt term. I repeated it unconsciously. Yes. Host, System 137's voice was steady and flat. Sorry, I was supposed to meet you yesterday, but headquarters called a meeting. Only joined you now. Additionally, you cannot directly mention my existence in front of others. Such remarks will be automatically blocked. We can talk directly in the bathroom. This is safe and won't be seen as a mental abnormality by others. I see. It wasn't that Zayakian was deaf, but that those. Once I realized the words were blocked, I understood, and my tense nerves miraculously relaxed, even sparking a hint of absurd curiosity about 137 looking like a phone number suffix. I muttered to myself in my consciousness. System 137 fell silent for a moment, then an emoticon was directly projected into my mind. It even had sticker packs. I widened my eyes in surprise and almost cried out in reality. Kaio Chen, Kaio Chen. Zayakian's call pulled me back to reality. She looked at the rapidly changing expression on my face, her inner anxiety reaching a peak, between yesterday's amnesia and now staring blankly into the air with a weird expression. The overlapping symptoms were truly not optimistic. Are you okay? We must go to the hospital now. I completely snapped out of it, and seeing the undisguised worry and determination in her eyes, I hurriedly waved my hands, trying to keep my expression normal. I'm fine, I just had a bit of morning grumpiness and my mind is still a little confused. Let's have breakfast, I'm hungry. After Zayakian finished breakfast half-heartedly, she called the family doctor before leaving for work. While the family doctor was examining me, a middle-aged man rushed in crying. Young master-in-law, I beg you to plead with the miss for me, don't fire me. My current mind is only 20 years old, and having never seen an elder kneel before me, I quickly reached out to support him. Please get up first, let's talk slowly. Young master-in-law, I have elders to support and 2 sons in university. I really can't lose this job. The bodyguard quickly reported the situation at the villa to Zayakian. Yuan Tianxian actually received the new number just yesterday. There really is a mole at home. While Yuan Tianxian watched the company's public movements, she was also playing hot and cold with Ah Chen, deliberately flirting. Does she really think I Zayakian am just a decoration? After hearing what the man had done, the bit of sympathy in my heart completely vanished. Keeping someone who betrays their master for gain and plays both sides is no different from burying a mine. It's too dangerous. If you can betray Zayakian today, then you can betray someone else tomorrow. Today it's passing information, tomorrow it might be taking a life. The Zai family cannot afford someone like you. I will settle your wages according to the market standard. If you continue to be unreasonable, I will sue you for violating employee regulations and demand compensation. The bodyguard relayed my words to Zayakian. Without missing a single word, Zayakian's originally cold face gradually softened. The family doctor's examination showed that my body was fine, just too thin. Zayakian's mood brightened completely. This was my most pleasant day in recent years. I hope Ah Chen plays along with this amnesia a bit longer, but this time I will never let you escape again. Since Ah Chen seems to have really forgotten, then don't ever remember. Stay by my side forever, stay by my side willingly. I went back to the bedroom, lay down, and began talking to the system in my head. 137, can you change this code name? If I didn't know better, I'd think my food delivery had arrived. Certainly, how would you like me to address you? Don't use sir, I feel like I'm still quite young. Can you adjust your speech pattern? It's too calm and icy. Sure, everything can be adjusted. How do you feel about a lively and friendly type? Fine, just don't be so like a robot or I'll have no desire to chat. As for the name, first introduce what functions you have. I come from the male lead department. My main task is to save the male lead. Simply put, I'm here to help you. What do I need saving from? Is it that Zayakian is keeping me locked up or that Yuan Tianxian is hurting me? Host, there is something I must tell you first. You need to be prepared. The world we are in is actually a novel. I know that. How could you know? That shouldn't be possible. I've just arrived and haven't said anything. Did another character tell you? Even if you believe what they said, it's not right. Do you have anything you want to say? I can see the bullet chat. Is this a bug in your system? It was a mistake. I was called back for a meeting as soon as I arrived yesterday and accidentally turned on the bullet chat function. So you have already understood this world through the bullet chat? Not really. The bullet chat is either playing Fight the Landlord or arguing all day long. There isn't much useful information. I only know I'm a love-struck male lead. Zayakian is the second female villain, and there's an unfaithful female lead while I don't talk about yourself like that. A male lead must be confident and strong. This world was born because of you. The female lead and second female lead indeed deserve harsh criticism. Are you sure? I'm the center of the world. Then why do all the resources, connections, and benefits go to the female lead? I'm so thin now that even my bones feel uncomfortable. It's an old novel. Back then, tropes involving physical and mental abuse or family ruin were popular, but this style isn't trendy anymore. The novel world goes through cycles, but recently it has gradually deviated from its path, especially last time when the second female lead turned evil and directly killed the female lead and eventually committed suicide in front of you. All main characters died and the world restarted, but in this cycle her actions have again become abnormal. Wait. What did you say? I died. Am I not the male lead? How could I die? Who is the center of this world? Is the female lead the author's own child while the male lead is adopted? Right, why should I have to die? Do I have to die? Before I die I must take that gold digger Yuan Tianxian with me. System 13. An abnormality alarm has been detected. Host, please calm down. Our system is here to help you achieve a happy ending. If it's about correcting the original plot, to give me and Yuan Tianxian a beautiful ending, I'd rather just go and stab her to death now. Who is this ending supposed to please? Whoever likes such a woman can spend their life with someone like her. Calm down, our male lead department has high authority and those old tropes aren't popular anymore. You can. Decide your own ending. You can choose to be with the second female lead or take the no CP solo male lead route. That's more like it. I hope I can have a happy and perfect ending. How about I name you Tu and Yuan? Alright, host, our goal is a happy ending. I look forward to working with you. You still haven't told me what functions you have. How do you plan to help me? That bullet chat function is both a help and a nuisance. They argue every day and it's annoying. Tu and Yuan apologizes. I'm sorry, host. I will turn it off now. If you want to see it later, you can adjust it in the bathroom. You need to complete the main storyline to reach your happiness progress for every stage you complete, rewards will be unlocked. The grand prize is growing old together. Even if you don't have a partner, you can safely reach the end of your life. Alone, is growing old together considered a grand prize? What if I have bad luck and the person I choose betrays me? What should I do? You can replace them at any time and the new person will inherit this grand prize. The male lead system will always put the male lead first. I'm quite satisfied. I still have questions. I was clearly in college just 2 days ago and now I've been married for 4 years. Why is this? Well, listen to my excuse. No, listen to my explanation. At the beginning of the story, I took you to headquarters to connect to the brain. Of course, novel characters have no memory of headquarters, my system. Upgrade took too long. You and I should have arrived 6 years ago, but the headquarters network lagged and delayed my upgrade. 1 day at headquarters is 1 year in the small world. I wanted to save it and return to at least when you first got married, but instead I ended up in this even worse now. Both my body and mind have been hurt. I'm a college student and you are too, but you're so unreliable. What did you even gain from upgrading? I'm a system that just graduated from college this year and you're my first host. What, are you reliable? I'm not very reliable myself and now I'm starting to doubt your abilities. I have confidence, I believe you will definitely be happy. I feel like 6 years have been lost for no reason. Was I here during those 6 years or not, but I exist in this world. And the plot was following the novel. These 6 years were the world's program running, commonly known as automatic control. Well, since it can be controlled automatically, then why do you need me? Logically, the plot of this novel means I would have followed this developmental path anyway. Automatic control would also lead to this program, so what's the difference between me and it? Besides, this is so different from my actual personality, it's not something I would ever do. The difference is that the automatically controlled body feels no pain, has no emotions and no thoughts, but you do. Since I have thoughts, how could I do such stupid things? That wasn't me, absolutely not me. Others finish their scripts and then they're done, but you're different. The beginning and the end are not governed by the plot. You can live however you want. Only the middle part was the plot. That person controlled by others wasn't me at all, he was just a string puppet living according to someone else's script. Isn't doing what I want. The me in the plot and the real me are two completely different people. I can't understand his way of thinking or acting at all, nor could I do those things. He made me look like a fool over and over. Again and again. Once would have been fine. But it's impossible to be this stupid every time. It's normal for you to feel that the person in the script isn't you. The one bound by the plot isn't the real you. Only the way you live freely is the real you. No matter what, I will never admit those 6 years were mine. It was too brain dead. I wouldn't do something like that. By the way, what's your ability? My ability is to rewind time 3 times. Rewind me to 6 years ago now. Let's start the mission from 6 years ago. Time rewind can only be used for the short term. Fine, let's save this skill for now. What are the rewards for the main storyline stages? You said this is a main mission, which means there are also side missions. Right, the rewards are mystery boxes and I don't know what's inside them. Side missions will be randomly assigned based on the people you meet. You can choose to do them or not. Sounds quite interesting. The Xi Corporation successfully secured the project. Taking a guaranteed profit project into their hands means the Xi Corporation will break through the ranks of many competing companies. In the office, she was the only one left on the entire floor. The bidding result notification email still sat coldly on the computer screen, every word like a needle piercing her eyes. She slowly stood up, walked to the floor-to-ceiling window and looked at the brilliant night view of Heishi. This business territory she thought was about to be under her control now seemed to be mocking her incompetence. She began to smash things frantically. After venting, she stood gasping in the middle of a mess. Her long hair was loose and the fine hair on her forehead was soaked with sweat. Her phone screen lit up showing a call from her fiancé, Chi Yibai. She didn't answer, just staring at the flashing name with cold eyes. 3 months ago, to win the government bid and secure a 500 million investment from the Qi family, Yuan Tianqian and Qi Yibai signed a betting agreement. If the project succeeded, the Qi family would get 15% of the shares. If it failed, she would repay the principal and interest at 20% annual interest within 3 years, using her own 8% original equity as collateral. She also made a pledge to her father, Yuan Fengtai. Although Yuan Fengtai was the actual person in power who had retired to the second line, he only recognized ability, not family affection. He had many children, and there were illegitimate children outside. This time, Yuan Tianqian's crushing defeat completely shook her position. The next morning, Yuan Tianqian barely pulled herself together and tried to make a comeback. She contacted several small and medium-sized technology companies she had collaborated with before and started to promote some stimulating projects, hoping to use short-term performance to regain her father's trust. At noon, the call from Qi Yibai's father, Qi Zhenping, arrived as expected, after some pressure and intimidation. The call was hung up. The smile on Yuan Tianqian's face instantly disappeared, her eyes terrifyingly cold. A few seconds later, the phone was slammed onto the newly replaced desk. That old fox actually dares to me. One by one, everyone wants to step on me at this time. Zai Yaqian became busier because she won the government project, but no matter how busy she would immediately check the messages sent by the bodyguards every hour regarding my status at home. It had been 3 hours and I hadn't left the room. Zai Yaqian, who had always been most concerned about me, felt uneasy and sensed something was wrong. When a child is quiet, he must be up to no good. She told the bodyguard to knock on the door and check what the young master was doing in the villa. "Young master, are you inside? I'm playing games." "What's up, young master is playing games inside?" "It's nothing." Hearing I was fine, Zai Yaqian's anxious heart settled. For the next few days, Zai Yaqian worked at the company during the day, and I continued to play games at home. During this period, I wanted to go out, but all my requests were rejected by Zai Yaqian. At night, the two of us were restrained by a golden chain lying on opposite ends of the large bed, more than a meter apart. The only inconvenience was that to gain weight quickly, I ate extra meals every day and also ate and drank before bed so I would wake Zai Yaqian up to go to the bathroom at night. Zai Yaqian's sleep became worse due to waking up in the middle. After a while, rumors spread quietly in the company that I had exhausted their CEO, the eldest Miss Yuan Tianqian, wanting to win back her father's trust, was busy cooperating with small companies. She was still angry about being scolded by me at the bidding meeting and being blacklisted, but she felt that in the end, I had obediently held back Zai Yaqian and didn't let her enter the venue, concluding that I still had her in my heart and was just throwing a tantrum. Unfortunately, her subordinates were useless. Even without Zai Yaqian there, the project was still lost. Later, she found out I was hospitalized because of helping her and took the time to send a message to care for me. I didn't reply. She thought I was restricted and had lost contact, so she sent several text messages to my old number to keep for future confrontation. It has been half a month since I traveled to this world, and the initial novelty has long been worn away by this kind of closed-off life. Every day I open my eyes in this luxurious and cold bedroom, scrolling through short videos to see other people's lives until my finger joints are sore and painful. I lay on the bed. I threw my phone aside and called out for the system. Can the main and side missions still be opened? I can't even see another person. I'm playing games in this room every day. I'm about to lose my mind. Host, how about we sneak out? If I run out, won't it be just like the original plot? The original plot was Zai Yaqian imprisoning me trying to escape, then getting hurt by Yuan Tianqian and caught by Zai Yaqian again. My body is so weak. If I run halfway, I might just drop dead directly. You have a point. Then you should recover your health first. Health is your capital. You need a good physique for any mission. Speaking of health, host, if you can restore your weight to a normal state, it will count as completing the first stage of the happiness goal. What did you say? Taking care of your body is also part of the goal. Yes, a happy ending starts with physical and mental health. What is the standard? At least a few indicators. Must meet health standards with no other diseases. For you, host, it means gaining weight. I've worked hard for half a month to gain only 3 or 4 pounds. Host, your height is 188.8. And your weight must be at least 140. Anything lower is very unhealthy. I looked at my thin, withered state and nodded. I threw down my phone. I'll start eating more today. Wait. I went to find Auntie Wang. Auntie Wang, starting today, make me some food to gain weight and nourish my body. Just make whatever is healthy. All right, young master, don't worry. I'll definitely nourish you well. However, her understanding seemed a bit off. At the dinner table, I looked at the feast and began to eat heartily. Zayakian's gaze slowly swept across the table. Grilled oysters, medium rare steak, fresh deep-sea fish, leek scrambled eggs, and a large tonic soup with wolfberry tea on the side. This combination was far too suggestive. Miss, the son-in-law specifically ordered this afternoon to make some nourishing meals to boost his blood and energy. The son-in-law is very thoughtful. Zayakian's lips twitched. She looked at me. I was buried in my work, slurping an oyster shell in one hand and forking beef into my mouth with the other. Zayakian closed her eyes and told Auntie Wang to leave first. Only the sound of clinking cutlery and my chewing remained in the dining room. Is it good? Yeah, delicious. Auntie Wang's cooking is great. The soup is very savory, without any image. I let out a burp. Zayakian looked at me. My eyes held only appreciation for the food and no other meaning. She suddenly felt she had been a bit self-important. She picked up her chopsticks and began to eat naturally. Eat quickly, there's so much. If you don't eat, I'll finish it all. Saying that, I served myself another full bowl of soup, intending to follow the weight gain plan to the end. Zayakian watched my voracious eating and her eyelid began to twitch again. She intended to remind me to eat a few bites less. Overeating like this. Be careful or your stomach won't handle it and you'll end up in the hospital like last time. I won't. I was happily calculating how much weight I'd gained. Tuan Yuan was also monitoring my intake in real time, and it was still far from the warning line. I knew what I was doing as I picked up more leeks. Zayakian watched me and began to eat a lot more. The night was deep. She lay on the bed barely a meter away from me. Her body temperature was higher than usual and her thoughts drifted vaguely. Recently, Ah Chen's appearance really looked like someone who had forgotten everything from the past few years. This unfamiliarity and indifference didn't seem like an act. Besides, one couldn't possibly act this way for so long and so realistically. Zayakian's thoughts subconsciously drifted back to before she was 20, to those youthful days, those feelings that had long been silent and withered. Quietly revived when facing the amnesiac him, that restless heart became fresh and burning once again, but how could I guess the turmoil deep within her heart? At first, I was resistant to sharing a room and sleeping in the same house as her. After spending these 2 weeks together, I gradually became certain. Zayakian simply didn't want me to have contact with Yuan Tianxian and was focused on my safety. Aside from that, she didn't seem to have any other intentions. After a week of such nourishing days, my weight increased significantly because I ate a lot. My originally thin arms and legs were now covered with a layer of flesh. One morning, I quietly stepped onto the scale and saw the needles stop at 110 pounds. I couldn't help but smile and look at myself in the mirror. However, inside Zayakian, who was progressing alongside me, a fire seemed to have been quietly lit. Initially, it was just tossing and turning at night. After all, her body wasn't weak. But eventually, it became a faint torment. She would often wake up suddenly in the middle of the night and could only quietly gaze at me sleeping soundly in the dim light. I was completely unaware, looking at my completely trusting appearance. The heat in her heart eventually turned into helplessness. Forget it, she would have to take it slow. She didn't want to wake me, nor was she willing to take a cold shower or force herself, much less explain it to me. Another night of familiar heat arrived, deeper than before. Sweat appeared on her forehead. She gently lifted the quilt and used the key to unlock the chain. In my daze, I rolled to the center and pressed against the skin of her arm. She practically scrambled into the bathroom, wanting to wash away those strange thoughts. When I woke up in the morning, I had no idea what had happened. As usual, I got up and went downstairs to eat. Zayakian was very happy seeing my complexion improve day by day. Zayakian, it's too boring at home, I want to go out. Also, I think I need a job. I can't just live like a pig in your house every day. Zayakian couldn't help but laugh at my description. Ah Chen is still the same as he was back then, humph. You even scold yourself when you get harsh. I know you don't want me to go out, but I'm about to grow mold at home. I'm not that guy who lives and dies for a woman, Kaio. I am that 20-year-old Kaio Chen now. I want to be progressive, hardworking, positive, and bright. I want a job, any job will do, even if I don't know how. I can learn slowly. I don't want to be kept by you at home all the time. I feel like a pet, not a human being. Host, you're great. This is the real you. As expected, the version of you bound by the plot wasn't real. Look at how the bullet comments are praising you. I just want to be myself. The master of my own life. I don't have to be excellent, but I must have the right to decide for myself and do what I want. What I want to do now is get a job, integrate into society, and be independent. I haven't seen the Ah Chen who is himself for many years. Oh yeah, you'll be my assistant and follow me every day. There are no other options. Summer is unhappy now, pouting at you. What's with that look? What's with that expression? What's with that attitude? I get it, I agree. Just thinking about being with you 24 hours a day makes me feel uneasy. Are you happy now? It's not that, I'm just afraid you'll deceive me. What if you use work as an excuse to secretly go find that Yuan Tianchen again and end up in a life and death situation where I have to save you? I just remembered what Tunyuan said before. About the last cycle where she killed Yuan Tianchen and went with me. To be honest, I really don't think Zayaki would like me after all our relationship is average. We can start an argument even over breakfast. In the first 20 years of our lives, this happened often. We'd argue after just 2 sentences and then make up just as quickly. I really find it hard to imagine why she would make such a decision. Could it be that Zayaki, like Yuan Tianchen, has a sickness? Does she only understand her own heart after someone dies? Only then would she regret it. Oh, I get it. If I'm going to be your assistant, then so be it. When the black sedan stopped steadily in front of the Zai Corporation's main entrance, the passing employees instinctively slowed their pace. The car door opened, and the first to get out was their usual cold-faced CEO, the eldest miss. Everyone's gaze was instantly and firmly caught by her. Zai Yakian seemed oblivious to the focused gazes around her. She walked hand in hand with me directly toward the CEO's private elevator, which immediately sparked suppressed whispers that couldn't be contained. A few brave employees quickly took out their phones and started spamming the Zai Corporation gossip group. What's going on? Assistant Zhu. CEO Zai brought a very handsome man over. Kaio Chen, who in memory was always hysterical and only cared about Yuan Tianchen, Zai Yakian actually brought him to the company. The CEO's exclusive elevator dinged. The elevator doors opened again, and Zai Yakian walked out first, followed closely by me. The top floor employees immediately sat up straight. Come to my office, yes, President Zai. Zhu immediately composed herself and followed behind. President Zai, Master, good morning. What are your instructions? Before Zai Yakian could speak, I raised my face with a kind of out-of-place excitement. Please help me arrange a workstation, starting today. I am coming to work, am I hallucinating? Otherwise, how could I hear this CEO's husband, who always causes trouble for the company, saying he wants to come to work? This is like bad news. She instinctively looked at Zai Yakian for confirmation. Zai Yakian nodded almost imperceptibly. At a desk in my office. Start with some simple work tasks first. No, I want to sit outside with everyone. Do as I say, go do it now. My request wasn't granted, which was expected. The current Zai Yakian is a complete dictator. If you dare to sneak out under the guise of working, don't even think about stepping out of the house ever again. As soon as I walked out, I met dozens of pairs of gossiping eyes that couldn't be withdrawn in time. Our gazes met in the air. And the atmosphere instantly became subtle and awkward. A big smile immediately spread across my face as I stepped forward and said in a clear voice, "Hello, everyone. Hello, we will be colleagues from now on. I am a newcomer to the workplace, and I don't know anything yet. Please look after me in the future. Of course, you're too polite." I seemed completely unaware of those probing gazes and quickly and Nat Urally blended into a few brief conversations. The tense atmosphere relaxed, and employee A. Anna cautiously prodded with curiosity. Is it convenient to ask, what is your relationship with President Zai? I blinked and replied smoothly, we are childhood friends and old classmates. I see. Everyone suddenly realized they were childhood sweethearts. While they wondered who he was, Zhu arrived with the logistics staff, carrying a brand new desk, chair, and computer. The equipment arrived. Seeing me surrounded, Zhu stopped and asked respectfully, Sir, why aren't you in President Zai's office? The word sir was like a stone thrown into a calm lake, causing huge ripples in everyone's hearts. The scene fell silent. Rumor had it that with President Zai, the relationship was terrible. Indeed, a man who could appear with Zai Yakian could only be her husband. I really don't understand the eldest Miss Zai's move. What they didn't know was that behind the special one-way glass of the CEO's office, Zai Yakian was standing quietly, her gaze penetrating the glass. Her eyes were locked firmly on me, filled with complex and indecipherable emotions, probing, scrutinizing, and a hint of suppressed possessiveness. Lately, A. Chen has been very obedient, even showing the agility and fire of his youth, almost flawless. This might be a clever disguise, I must find a flaw as soon as possible and tear off A. Chen's mask, but How I wish all of this were real. I wish time would stop here and HN would always be like this, the one who smiles and bickers with me, and would just giggle foolishly after being teased. Juju moved quickly and soon set up my workstation, complete with a brand new computer. In a full set of office supplies, having my own territory, I looked exceptionally focused. You sat properly in front of the computer all morning, sometimes deep in thought, sometimes typing, looking impossibly serious. Tuinuan, what does this report mean? What do these numbers represent? How do I adjust this layout? Why is mine so ugly? School never taught this, I've never encountered this at all. This PPT template is so tacky, the colors are hideous. Adhering to the principle of doing it myself, I first secretly used my phone to search. For things I really didn't understand, I called Tuinuan for emergency guidance. After a day of stumbling, I finished several basic tasks. Zayakian printed out the documents I submitted and pointed to several spots with the tip of her pen. The logic is flawed here, the data is inaccurate, and the format doesn't meet standards. I leaned in to watch her explain on the paper, her voice gentle and patient. Unconsciously, I followed her train of thought, watching her eyes as she made adjustments, learning her logic for solving problems. My eyes lit up. With lightning speed, I saved the files and closed the computer in one fluid motion. I gave a cheer, stood up, and was about to dash out. Kaio Chen, you don't want the revisions. I'll do it tomorrow. Labor law says it's time to get off work. I dashed out of the office, leaving behind a group of workers casting envious glances. Who doesn't want to leave as soon as work ends? But my freedom was extremely short-lived. I'm sorry, sir. President Zai specifically instructed that you cannot leave the company alone. Zayakian, I want to get off work. Come back and finish the files before leaving. It is overtime now with triple pay, yet as an employee you are leaving earlier than the boss. In any other company, you would have been fired already. Clutching my phone, I looked back at the tall elevator and slunk back inside. The lights on the top floor lit up for me once again. Let's go home. I hate working overtime. I followed behind Zayakian into the elevator. It was much quieter this time. By the time Zayakian drove me back to the Zai residence, it was late at night. Mother Liu had already prepared dinner with 6 steaming dishes and a soup on the table full of homey warmth. After we both finished eating in silence, I went straight to the master bedroom, urgently needing a killing spree in the canyon, while Zayakian went to the study for work. Soon her phone vibrated. Come out for a drink. I heard you took my brother-in-law to the office today. What's the situation? Not going. Nothing is going on. Don't bluff me. You two coexisting peacefully for a whole day without fighting or a cold war is rarer than the sun rising from the west. It was all right. He lost his memory. Zayakian, being annoyed, replied briefly and then ignored her. An hour later, the doorbell rang. Mother Wang opened the door to see Gu Nyanian standing there with a grin, changing shoes as she was familiar with the house. Eldest Miss Zai, I have arrived at your house. Gu Nyanian sent a message to Zayakian upstairs. Where is my brother-in-law? You certainly are persistent. Zayakian subconsciously glanced toward the closed door of the master bedroom. You made a special trip just for this bit of gossip. Of course, it is a miracle you two didn't fight. I naturally want to see for myself. Gu Nyanian sat up, eyes shining. Zayakian said in a flat tone. Saying, we are not monkeys in a zoo, worth a special visit from you. By the way, hasn't HN always been obsessed with that Yuan Tianchen? Why the sudden change? Don't tell me you've been fooled again. Back then, I had caused a huge scene for Yuan Tianchen. As Zayakian's best friend, Gu Nyanian often drank with her in sorrow, so she was naturally still wary. A very faint trace of softness flickered in Zayakian's eyes. He lost his memory. Last time he faked a headache and amnesia to win your sympathy. This time his tactics have leveled up. Is it for real? He doesn't even remember who Yuan Tianchen is. What? If his acting has just improved, Yakian, don't fall for it again. Before she could finish, a faint sound of a door opening reached their ears. Both looked up simultaneously. Walked out wearing loungewear. I stood by the railing and looked down, my gaze clear but with a hint of strangeness and curiosity. Gu Nyanian immediately stood up, wearing her signature bright smile. Hello, brother-in-law, did we talk too loud and disturb you? I walked down the stairs and nodded to her, polite yet distant hello. At the same time, I urgently called out to the system in my mind, Tuinuan. Who is this? Gu Nyanian, a close friend the female lead met during her startup days. They have a very solid bond. She's likely the only one who can talk heart-to-heart with Zayakian. Suddenly understood and met Gu Nyanian's inquiring gaze. I just came down to get some water. Please continue. I went to the kitchen fridge and took out 2 bottles of mineral water. He actually smiled at me just now and even took the initiative to say hello. Didn't he used to have a cold face every time he saw me? It seems he really has amnesia, Hens. Memory has stopped before the age of 20, forgetting everyone and everything after that. That's a good thing, such a great event must be celebrated. Let's go out for a few drinks, my treat. Zayakian was stunned. For a moment. All right, let's go. Reporting your whereabouts already? Yakian, are you falling for him again? Zayakian ignored her, walked to the master bedroom door and knocked gently from inside. Hey, my slightly muffled voice. Come in. I was sitting cross-legged on the sofa, my fingers sliding rapidly across the phone screen. The battle seemed intense. The light from the screen outlined a focused profile on my face, as if I were completely immersed in my own world. Chen, I'm going out for a drink with Gu Nianian and might be back a bit late. I didn't even look up. My eyes remained glued to the screen. Oh, go ahead. It's not like I have you on a leash. The moment those words fell, Zayakian's body and mind shuddered imperceptibly. Those words were like a fine needle accurately piercing. Into her heart, she wanted to say something, but all the words were stuck in her throat, eventually turning into a bitter silence. In the end, she said nothing, just gave me a deep look and then gently closed the door. Inside the bar, the lights were dim and hazy, the low bass thumping against the eardrums. Zayakian didn't say a word, downing 2 glasses of hard liquor in a row. Drink slower, what are you doing? What triggered you in such a short time? As the 3rd glass was raised to her lips, Zayakian threw her head back and drank it down. Should I not be keeping him locked up like this? You were protecting him. In the past, as soon as you let go, he'd run straight to Yuan Tianxian. How much trouble did he cause every time, wasn't it you? Who had to clean up the mess? Now that he has amnesia and the situation is unclear, you need to be even more careful. What if something happens again? He doesn't like being locked up by me and he doesn't like me. Zayakian stared at the amber liquid swirling in her glass. Isn't that obvious? But at least he's not causing trouble now. You can finally have some peace. Just take it slow. You can't rush matters of the heart, but Zayakian didn't seem to hear and poured herself another glass. Gunayanian knew she was destined to be a drinking companion tonight. The two's striking appearance had already attracted many looks. After a while, a tall man holding a wine glass approached Zayakian. He sat down in the empty seat next to her, 2 beautiful ladies. Drinking alone is so boring. How about we have a drink together? Sorry, my friend is married. One can still make friends even after marriage. It looks like this beauty is in a bad mood. Let's have a chat. I'm married. The smile on the man's face froze for a moment, and he looked pointedly at her bare finger with a provocative tone. You seem to be in a bad mood. Did you have a spat with your husband? If you ask me, sometimes you need to let yourself relax. Maybe your husband is also having fun somewhere else right now. Besides, you've even taken off your wedding ring. Why be so serious? Life is short. Shouldn't you enjoy the moment? At this moment, I was teaming up with my game friends, talking over the mic and mocking a couple on the other side. I was having a great time when I suddenly sneezed loudly without warning. Who's thinking of me? I rubbed my nose and muttered, Zayakians. Aura suddenly dropped to the freezing point. Get out. The man was struck by the chilling coldness in her eyes and fled in a panic. Gunayanian breathed a sigh of relief, but when she turned her head, she saw Zayakian staring intently at her bare right ring finger. My marriage with a Chen was a sham from the start. A Chen didn't like me before and he still won't like me in the future. This truth burned her insides more than any strong liquor. Zayakian stopped talking and downed glass after glass. Gunayanian felt terrible watching this but didn't know how to console her. Finally, seeing that Zayakian was heavily intoxicated, she had to call her people to take this ancestor home safely. It was late at night when Zayakian was helped out of the car by the driver. The night breeze momentarily cleared her mind, but her steps were still unsteady. She waved away Gunayanian's hand, which was trying to support her, and stumbled into the house, dragging herself up the stairs step by step. Gunayanian, seeing she had nothing else to do, went home relieved. In front of the bedroom door, Zayakian stopped, leaning against the cold wall and clumsily smoothing out her skirt. After doing this, she took a deep breath and grabbed the cold door handle. My excited voice could be heard faintly from inside the room, drifting clearly into her ears through the gap in the door. Zayakian's hand instantly froze. On the door handle, her blood seemed to freeze in an instant, and in the next second it surged to her head. The man's malicious words from the bar were actually like a most vicious curse, coming true at this moment in such a sarcastic manner. It turned out that a Chen hadn't lost his memory and had been lying to me all along. using that innocent look reflecting his 20-year-old self and those seemingly gentle actions to meticulously weave a massive lie. It turned out that in places where I couldn't see, a Chen still maintained such an intimate connection with Yuan Tianchen. Babe, such an intimate term. Many years ago, I called out to a Chen countless times in my dreams, hoping that one day a Chen would call me that too, but a Chen had never called me that even once, yet he called another woman that thousands of times. Zai Yaqian's jealousy fermented within the scent of alcohol, the tipsiness that had somewhat dissipated was now mixed with overwhelming rage. The shame of being fooled surged up like a flood, instantly devouring her last remaining bit of sanity. She slammed the door open. The warm and soft light of the room spilled out, creating a sharp contrast with the dim corridor. I was leaning against the headboard wearing headphones, my fingers still sliding rapidly across the screen. I was clearly startled by the sudden loud noise and looked up abruptly, my face still held the relaxed expression from my recent interaction with my gaming friends. Zayakian stood there, her cheeks flushed with an unnatural crimson. In her eyes was a bloodshot look of despair I had never seen before. Her usual cool and composed appearance was completely gone, like a cornered beast that had been thoroughly stung. She stared at me intensely, her lips trembling for a long time before she squeezed out a tearful question. Zio. Chen, you lied to me. You never lost your memory at all. I sat up, completely confused. What did I lie to you about? I've never lied to you. You didn't lie to me. She walked in step by step, her high heels clicking on the floor. Every step felt like she was treading on the edge of a knife. Then who was the babe you just called? It was Yuan Tianchen, wasn't it? You've been faking it all along, faking memory loss, faking being well-behaved. Faking that you only rely on me while still being entangled with her behind my back. I finally realized what was happening and raised my phone, caught between laughter and tears. Are you talking about this? This is my gaming teammate. He's a guy I just got a pentakill. So I called him Babe to celebrate. What are you imagining? Zayakian's footsteps stopped abruptly. Her drunkenness mostly cleared and the rage in her eyes froze bit by bit. Turning into bewilderment, she stared at the game interface on my phone screen and then looked at my innocent expression. The flush on her cheeks vanished instantly, turning pale. I softened my tone. Zayakian, I know what you're afraid of. You're afraid I'll remember Yuan Tianchen. The person who used to be obsessed with her wasn't me, he was just a puppet controlled by the plot. My current memory is stuck at 20. I only remember us as rivals who grew up bickering. She turned her face away, her shoulders trembling slightly, refusing to look at me, but she didn't argue further. I got out of bed and walked over to her. The person who was obsessed with Yuan Tianchen wasn't me, he was a puppet controlled by the plot. My current memory is stuck at 20. I only remember us as rivals who grew up bickering. I remember that when I took first place at the sports meet and sprained my ankle, you were the one who helped me to the school hospital. You scolded me the whole way, but you held my arm so gently, afraid to use force. I remember how you were always sharp-tongued but soft-hearted. When I lacked pocket money, you'd act reluctant, but then you'd turn around and stuff the money into my hands. I remember you saying that you wouldn't like me even if every other man in the world died. That was just a fit of pique, I know. I reached out and gently wiped the tears from her face, my movements clumsy but earnest. I've seen everything clearly over the past half-month. You say you're locking me up with a gold chain because you're afraid I'll run away. You gave up important bidding meetings for me, and even when you knew I might be faking, you rushed to me every time. Zayakian, you are not a villain. You are the silliest person in this world and the one who protects me the most. She suddenly looked up, her tears hitting the back of my hand, scalding hot. Are you really not going to look for Yuan Tianchen again? Why would I look for her? A woman who strung me along, used me, and stepped on me and the Zai Corporation to climb up without a single sincere word. I'd have to be crazy to touch her again. That wasn't me before, but now I am. Myself, I will only stay away from toxic people. Host, you're amazing, the misunderstanding is resolved. Ignoring the system, I gently took Zayakian's hand and led her to sit by the bed. I apologize for the things she did to you in the past. She made you suffer. 6 years of grievances made you unable to sleep peacefully every night and forced you to imprison me just to keep me even though you loved me. She failed you, but I promise you, from today on, Kaio Chen will never let Zayakian shed another tear. Zayakian threw herself into my arms and hugged my waist tightly, burying her face in the crook of my neck. The grievances suppressed for 6 years finally exploded as she cried like a child. I gently patted her back, my heart aching for her. Zayakian's so-called imprisonment was never about control. But about redemption. If she hadn't stayed by my side, the one controlled by the plot would have died long ago from repeated self-harm and despair. She protected my life in the clumsiest, most paranoid way possible. Don't lock me with chains anymore, I'm not afraid. If you're afraid, I'll take you everywhere I go. I'll follow you to work and stay with you after work. I'll never leave you for the rest of my life. She looked up with eyes red from crying and asked in a small voice, really? Truer than real gold, and I'm going to work hard to help you manage the Xi Corporation. In the past, I held you back. From now on, I will be your strongest support. That night was the first time we didn't sleep a meter apart. I held her in my arms and she slept soundly without tossing and turning or waking up in the middle of the night. Early the next morning, when Xi Yakian woke up, she was still a bit embarrassed, her ears turning red. I teased her on purpose, President Xi, who was crying like a baby yesterday. She glared at me, but her gaze lacked its usual coldness, carrying a hint of coyness instead. You're not allowed to mention it. After getting up, I directly had the bodyguards take away all the gold chains in the house. From now on, I will bind you with my heart. It's more secure than anything else. In the following days, I completely integrated into the work at Xi Corporation, from not even understanding reports at first to slowly learning from Xi Yakian. Learning business knowledge and handling company affairs, I progressed rapidly. Xi Yakian was very patient when teaching me, and I was especially diligent, wanting to help share her burden, so she wouldn't have to shoulder everything alone anymore. Meanwhile, Yuan Tianchen finally paid the price for her greed and selfishness. After the government bidding project failed, she not only failed to get investment from the Qi family but also owed massive debts. Her original shares were mortgaged, and her father was already struggling to take care of himself. I discovered that other children had risen. Yuan Tianchen was abandoned by everyone, her former glory gone. Finally, she could only leave Heishi in disgrace, never to have the power to stir up trouble again. When I heard this news, I just smiled faintly. Good and evil have their rewards. Her end was her own doing, and she could blame no one else. When Gu Nianian came to the Xi residence again and saw Xi Yakian and me sitting side by side on the sofa, with me peeling oranges for her as she leaned on my shoulder reading documents looking like a picture of peace and harmony, she was so shocked she nearly spat out the tea in her mouth. My God, Kaio Chen, you've really completely changed. Before you only had eyes for Yuan Tianchen, but now your eyes are full of our Yakian. Not bad, not bad, you've finally come to your senses. Xi Yakian gave Gu Nianian a gentle push, but a smile played on her lips. Don't talk nonsense. I took Xi Yakian's hand and said seriously. I was blind before, but now I see clearly who the person truly worth my cherishing is. Host, the first phase of the mission has been successfully completed, and your health indicators have reached the standard. The second phase mission, Protect Xi Yaxi, has begun. The reward blind box has been issued. You have opened the husband and wife as one buff. From now on, your hearts will be connected and there will be no more misunderstandings. As days passed, my weight slowly returned to normal, no longer like before. That scrawny appearance is gone, and my whole being is full of spirit and vitality. The bond between Xi Yakian and me grew deeper, turning from childhood rivals into indispensable lovers. Under our joint management, the Xi Group developed better and better. Its reach expanded to become a top enterprise in High City. Shareholders who once doubted Xi Yakian now praise me endlessly. One weekend, I took Xi Yakian back to our old university campus, walking the familiar paths as if we had returned to the year we were 20. I stopped and looked at Xi Yakian seriously, knelt on one knee, and took out a diamond ring bought with my first earnings. Xi Yakian, in the year I was 20, I sprained my foot. You helped me walk this path. Now at 26, I want to hold your hand and walk through life together. Our past marriage was spite and accident. Now I want to marry you because I love you. Will you marry me? Xi Yakian's eyes welled up as she nodded vigorously, her voice choked with emotion. I do. I placed the ring on her finger and stood up to hug her. There would be no more rivals. There is only me and my wife. Never to be parted for a lifetime. Growing old together. Host, the final mission has been completed. The grand prize Grow Old Together is activated, wishing you and Xi Yakian a life of happiness and peace. I held her in my arms, my heart filled with contentment. I once thought I was a puppet trapped in a novel, that my fate was already written, only destined for tragedy. But now I know. As long as you stay true to your heart and cherish sincerity, you can break free from all constraints and live the way you want. Zayakian used 6 years of persistence and protection. To wait for the real me to return, I will use the tenderness and companionship of the rest of my life. To soothe all her grievances and waiting, in the dead of night I watched the sleeping Zayakian beside me and gently kissed her forehead, in this lifetime being able to marry you is my Kaio Chen's greatest luck. For the rest of my life the snow is you, the mundane is you, poverty is you, prosperity is you, the tenderness in my heart is you, and my gaze also belongs to you.